Continuing, notice that we have two functions here, three functions here, and then we have another function down here. Now you normally don't do that. You put your functions, like I said, in another file. You put them at the top of the page or the bottom of the page. It doesn't matter. These functions are like little programs themselves, and they won't even execute until you actually call the function here. You can't do anything with this. If you didn't call add, for example, add function would never ever execute because it's only there when you need it. And it helps you that you don't have to write this over and over and over again. Functions are really going to allow you to write modular code, which means you can write little sections that you can use over and over again, and it's also going to allow you to write very clean code and save you time. Other people can write functions for you, and then they can pass them on to you in libraries, and then you can use them as you want, or vice versa. So we can just look a little bit more here. There's another function here that's going to set default parameters. Now you know that you can pass your parameters, but you probably didn't know that you could add equal sign and then a default value in case whoever is using the function doesn't pass both parameters. Here we're just passing testing, which is the first string. So if that's the case, then PHP is going to say, okay, well, we have a default value. Let's put that in there since we didn't get a value. And then when you echo that out, you're going to see that that's going to list the default right there. Very easy. Here we have an array. You can pass an array in, and we're going to do that. Check array. It receives an array, which is just a variable name, and then we work with it like an array. You can also test to make sure that the type is an array. What this does is it loops through and actually processes the information there, and then it's going to return the array in reverse. And the array isn't going to be modified, the original array. We're only reversing the internal array, and that's important to move on to the next level of functions. So we'll peek at that. And you see we have some output here, output many times. So let's look at what happens here. That's one function, echoing out the values. And then we have the check array here, which is calling that function with the array. So that's the first list that we see here. 0, 1, 2, apples, ice cream, Danish, semicolon separated there, as we have output here. And then we slide down again, and we echo this out again just to show you what's going on. We echo $AR, and we do another processing of the information here. But notice that we didn't put an AR in front here, so we're not actually going to change anything. We're not going to receive it. We don't have to process it. If we don't want to, we could. But we just call the function, and whatever it returns, we're essentially just ignoring it. We don't want to use it. But you could do it like this and receive the array. And this is just going to echo out the original for the second. The third, so we have the first echo, we have the second echo, and then we have the third echo, as you can see. Now when we call this again, notice here that when we look at the third echo, it is still in the right order. Well, that third echo is what is processed in the function itself, as we're used to. So it's calling it again. So don't be confused by saying, I'm expecting this to be in reverse. Well, it still has to call the function, echo out what the function received from this parameter, and then whatever is returned, we're passing back into the original array, so we're changing the array. But we're going to need to take a look at the fourth set of echo statements here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and look at that. They're reversed. That's because we call the reverse, and then we return that reversed array, and we happen to set it again to the same array variable. So we overrode it. We didn't have to do it that way, but we did. And that is how we change the array. There are other ways to do that with passing by reference. Passing by reference is a more advanced way of doing things, but I will mention it here. It allows you to actually put this ampersand there, and it allows us to actually change the array that was passed in. If we change it inside the function, it's actually going to update that variable and it's going to go back out externally. Well, that's important to know, because instead of returning it with the return statement, as you can see here, no return statement, we're actually still going to reverse the array, and the value that we return back is going to be reversed. And you can see this is check array 2, check array 2. We're not actually going to return the array. We're going to call the function past the array, and this array is going to be updated, as you can see here. And here you see the original output, and then it's reversed, and originally back in place to what it used to be. So we're reversing the reverse. So that's how you would return that. Pass that ampersand in, and you can see we do it again here. These can be changed, meaning the sources can be changed back when you get back to the actual page, and this one won't be. So we're doing that here, and everything's going to be processed as we need to. Now in this example, we have something that we can work with when we actually return something based on a variable that we have internally. But this Boolean doesn't have any value that's set inside here. So you have to make note of that you need to have everything inside here or use global variables where you can use the variables that are outside of this particular function. Well, you don't set that here, but it's one way to actually return true based on what that value is. But just letting you know that you should have variables here that aren't going to mess you up. Make sure your variables are local or use global. And then you can see that we can actually change this. I'll leave this up to you to take a peek at it. And this is going to actually call that do something function. You can check out what was before, echo it, and then you can see what was after. And here you are with the values, original, and then the after. So just in a little short video, we can see many, many uses for functions. We'll see a lot more. We have parameters, we have parameters that can be returned by reference, etc. And things are really going to be looking up as far as being able to work in terms of this. This is some great functionality. It's really going to add a lot of value to what you're doing. You're able to make changes, reuse functions over and over again, and it really adds a lot of value to what you're trying to accomplish within your websites and organizes you in great ways.